To start the session, I will pass back to Gary. All right, let me live on Facebook.
Okay, let's rock, Nate.
Let's rock.
All right.
Let's bring value to the world today and touch people's lives, huh?
All right. Welcome, 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 peoples from all around the world. You're welcome to today's interview with the Star Session. We are welcoming a very awesome public figure, leaders from British, and his name is called Nate Wells, and he's famous all around the world. All right, he's good with the internet. I just met him today. I can't wait to rock these sessions together with you guys. You guys feel free to type in the chats. Are you excited for today's session? Type a 1 in the chats to let me know you're excited. All right, type in a 1 in the chats. You're excited for today's sessions. Wow, a lot of 1 is coming. Super excited. Yes, we have people from Malaysia, from USA, from Australia. Wow, people are joining in, and I believe there'll be more people joining in. All right. Wow, from Philippines, we have Alan from Philippines. Welcome. Today's session is going to be amazing. Remember to send invitation and reminders to your peoples to let them join in today's session. They will get something really awesome today. All right. There's more story to be shared today, and I hope you guys can have a very fun session together. Let me pass back the session back to Gary. All right.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Guys, how are y'all feeling today? Woohoo! Give a big round of applause to none other than our 19-year-old up-and-coming super leader, Charger Tan.
Yay!
Whoa. Is that Bernard Huela from Manila?
Yes, 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 yes.
Wow, Bernard, you are supercharged, huh?
Yeah, play the game to win.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way. I can also see our good friend Kuniko-san from Los Angeles. Whoa, 8 p.m. right now in LA. Audrey, hi Audrey. Let me see who else are there. I can see Ellen. Dr. Sire just called me from Cambodia. Now he's back online. So many. Deborah Dun, Hock Beng. Okay. So many. Super Lee, Lina Liu from London, so near. Stephen, Wendy, all of y'all, Lawrence Tong, welcome, welcome. Today is such an awesome day. You know, we just completed our usual Tuesday morning power walk and our mastermind breakfast meeting. This out there right now, my balcony is facing a rainforest that's super amazing. And we have a weather like I was in Seattle just a few days ago. Okay, it's like, I think it's like 22, something like that. We feel like we are in Cameron Highlands this morning. So we had an awesome breakfast and sharing session. I was telling them about my US trip. Okay, anyway, today we are going to have a super awesome session. This guy that you'll be hearing shortly, I'm going to call him up, super amazing. I never knew about him until I met him in the last convention in San Diego. Then I started checking out his Facebook page. Few things that I like to mention here that's really amazing. We were on the same plane in the same class together in a business class, and we didn't even know. We were on both. We were on Japan Airlines. He flew in from Vietnam to Narita. I flew in from Malaysia to Narita, and we flew, both of us, from Narita to San Diego in the same plane, in the same section. And we didn't know each other then. How about that? So near yet so far. So guys, again, this is to tell you, you never know. You'll be sitting next to a Gary Gan, a Nate Wells, a Cynthia Briganti, a Romy Verdera, ready for you to rock. Okay, so always remember, open your office. Remember, this is your office, right? And that's first I met Then I got to know him when we were invited exclusively to attend the special CEO. Oh, wait, just let me raise this thing. Yeah, so you can see me on my eye level. Okay. So we were invited for this special exclusive dinner at Mr. and Mrs. Oshiro's residence called the Chula Vista golf course, Energy Golf Course in Chula Vista in San Diego. And that's where I really got to know Nate. And I tell you, when I first heard him spoke in Vietnamese language, he speaks better than Dang Nguyen. Can you imagine that? So afterwards, I'm going to get this guy to talk a few Vietnamese lines. If you don't see his white face, you will think it's another Vietnamese speaking. It's really amazing, I'm telling you. So that's what something that captivated me. And when I heard his story, we had a table, a story sharing table round. And when I heard his story, it's really touching, you know. And just for all of your information, if you are in some really down situation, challenges all the way, uphill climb like you are climbing Mount Everest, you need to listen to his story, because if he can make it, turn his life around and be where he is today, I'm very sure all of us can do the same, okay, to achieve the dream life that we have always wanted to. Okay, so without further ado, let me welcome my latest brother that I met in San Diego. Amazing guy. And what I like, guys, today, what I want you all to really do, okay, what I really want you all to do is have at least something that you can write on a paper, a digital, you know, notepad, whatever. If you are into texting on the phone or whatever, I want you all to write things down so that you can at least implement one or two things that he has to share, because this guy purely made his empire in Kangen, especially in Kangen, through the internet. How many of y'all guys, I want to see on the chat button, how many of y'all are super interested to know how you can build a mega fortune over the internet? Give me a 2. Give me a 2 on the chat button so that I know we are on the same wavelength. Nate, are you seeing this? Everybody is like, you know, because there are a lot of baby boomers here as well. There are a lot of people who are, you know, so strange to the world of the internet, including myself, to be very frank. So today, you are the man. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome none other than the one and only super amazing Nate Wells. Woo!
Yes, Gary. Appreciate the intro. Appreciate you for inviting me out. Xin chào mọi người. Có người Việt Nam ở đây. Have or not? Có người ở trong chat đó? No. So
talk about that, man. Whoa, that's impressive, guys.
No.
Okay, before that, Nate, any Vietnamese here? Any Vietnamese
I don't see anybody.
in the room? Just say
I don't
me.
see anybody in the chat.
Anybody? Any Vietnamese here? No. The only thing that
No
I can
problem.
do is xin chào. That's all.
I'll look forward to being your white translator when you come to Saigon next time, man.
That'd be great. Looking forward to that. So,
right.
Nate, yeah, first and foremost, before you start, I just want to say it from my heartfelt gratitude, and on behalf of Kangen Power Team and all the people right here, thank you for taking time off. I know you have an amazing lifestyle, but I also know you have a very busy schedule. So thank you for taking time to share some of these very valuable tips with us, that maybe some things you share here today may be the turning point in somebody's life right now in this room. Okay, so for that, thank you so much. Cảm ơn.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, so Nate, I'd like to start off because I always believe when I hear a very touching, moving, and inspiring story, I always like to let the world hear it as well, just like Oprah, right? Okay. So yeah, so hit it, Nate. Share with every one of us here what you shared like during that CEO dinner. What was your life like before Kangen? Yeah.
So I can describe myself best as being a serial entrepreneur. All right. I have tried it all, but I didn't take the traditional route. I didn't go to university. I left school when I was 16 years old, and I wanted to have my own business always. So I started my first company when I was 20 years old. I'm from the UK originally, but my first company was in Paris, France. And I had an international courier company, and I did pretty well for myself, I have to say. The money was good. I got to travel the world. I was delivering parcels all over the world, but I had no idea how to scale up my business. I had no idea from a managerial point of view. Operations, no problem, but managerial and how to actually build my business. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't have anybody that I could ask. I didn't have any kind of mentor, anybody that could give me any kind of information. And of course, in the normal business world, everybody's holding on to their secrets. Nobody wants to help you. Nobody wants to share their ideas. Nobody wants to fuel the competitor, right?
Everybody's a competitor, right?
Exactly. So we treat them as such, and we keep them at distance. And you know, I didn't know where to go. And I did this business for 3 years. And my first business, I had a comfortable life. Don't get me wrong. I was okay, but I had no time whatsoever. I was working literally every day. If I got home one night a week, that was good for me. Yeah. And I was literally living in airplanes, living in airports, traveling nonstop. And after 3 years, I was burnt out, completely and utterly destroyed. I couldn't deal with the business. And in the end, I had to walk away from it. Yeah. And so I did that. I got away. I moved next to Portugal. And in Portugal, first of all, I tried to set up a mobile car servicing system. I put a lot of money into, pretty much all my money, in fact, into research development, into buying equipment. And I had no clue about marketing. And I thought I have an amazing product and everybody's going to want my product, right? Normal, yeah. But no, naive little 25 or 24-year-old me, I had no clue about marketing. And I realized very suddenly, it was a big shock, that even though I had this amazing product, nobody cared about it because I could not sell it to them. I could not give it to them in a way that they could understand it, grasp it, use it. This is all before the internet, by the way. I'm an old guy. This was back in the mid 90s when we didn't really have any of the tech things going on that we have now. Right. So I then moved into restaurants, and I opened my first restaurant when I was about 25. And again, this was a dream of mine. In fact, it's a dream of many people, right? And you open your restaurant and you have your own business and you're the boss. And I realized after I got this restaurant started, after I'd actually built the business up, that it's actually really, really hard work. And you're working again all day long. And it's not that you're the boss, okay? You're the owner. You are the owner of your company, of your business, but you're not really the boss. Yep. Your customer is the boss. Your landlord is the boss. Your employee is the boss. Your employees are the boss. Yeah. Everybody is the boss except for you, in actual fact. And even though during the month you're collecting the money and the money's going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and making a big fat hole in your pocket, at the end of the month, you pay that money out. You pay that. And like you're left over with this, like a few little notes at the end of it. And you ask yourself, is this worth it? Yeah. I've just worked 80 hours plus this week for little to no money, not enough. So again, I found myself in a beautiful place in Portugal, but I had no time to enjoy it, no money to enjoy it. And after a year and a half, I decided, forget this. This is not going the way that I planned. Yeah. My business journey, it's not right. So I decided to go off traveling, and I traveled quite a bit. And in fact, for 5 years, I spent most of my time traveling between Europe and Asia. I started going out to India. I spent a lot of time in India, and I had a good time. And I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the world. And I eventually ran out of money. And I ran out of money when I was 30 years old in Saigon, Vietnam. And I just come to Vietnam and I had $300 left in my pocket on a one-way ticket, by the way. Yeah. Wow. So there was no way that I could even leave Saigon unless I found some source of money. So I started teaching English, which is a typical thing for the white guy to do in Saigon. And the money was okay. I didn't really like the job, but the money was okay. And the money that I got, I invested it into made in Vietnam products. I went around the factories. I found things that I could buy in the factories that I could ship back to Europe. And I started using this online website that was pretty new back in the day called eBay. And I'm sure most of you know about eBay now, but back then it was still pretty small. It was still just getting started. And I was able to sell these products that I bought in Vietnam that I shipped over to the UK, and I was able to sell them at a seriously good markup. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So this online marketplace allows me to sell products without really having to, I don't need people to come to my shop. I don't need people to walk in front of my high street store or whatever. Anybody, anywhere in the UK or anywhere in Europe for that matter, they can find me easily through a search of the product and they can buy their product from me. But even though my business was kind of online, at the same time, I was having to drive around the factories. I was having to find the products. I was having to buy it, like literally you have to pay upfront in cash, the products. They were shipped to my house. Every single product had to be checked by hand. Every stitch, every zipper, everything had to be checked by hand. I had a 5-bedroom house, 4 bedrooms of which were stacked floor to ceiling with products that all had to be checked by hand, unpacked, checked, repacked, packed together, shipped to the UK. And again, I had an online business, but it was hard and a lot of effort required. Then, even though I started making money, I made my first ever 6-figure year. This is back in 2007, I think. My first 6-figure year. I was super pumped, super happy. And then 2008, what happened? Anybody who remembers what happened in 2008, the global financial crisis hit. It hit Europe and the UK very, very hard. All of a sudden, nobody wanted to buy my stuff. And the pound collapsed against the dollar. So I was already making half the amount of profit that I was making previously. Plus, I couldn't find any customers. So I went from making, let's say, 10 grand US a month to making 500 US a month. In the meantime, the confidence of me having a business that was making good money allowed me to get married and have a baby. Yeah. And all of a sudden, my baby girl was born. And 3 months later, my business tanked. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? So I did what I didn't want to do. I swore that I would never do again, but it was something that I knew, and that was the restaurant industry. So I started to put restaurants back into Vietnam, and I started my first restaurant just after my daughter was born in 2008. And I grew that one restaurant, just little small restaurants, but I grew that one restaurant in about 2.5 years to 18 locations. All right. So I had a nice little chain of businesses. Again, super hard work, super labor intensive, very small profit margins. And I was able to live a semi-comfortable kind of middle-class life. I had a car. I rented a nice house. I didn't own my house. My daughter was, she was able to eat good food, and I took care of my family, but I never had time for my daughter at all. Right. And it just wasn't a life. Yeah. So I decided to sell up. So I sold all of my all of my restaurants, and I moved up to a place called Millionaires, which is near to Phan Thiet, about 5 hours drive from Saigon on the coast. And I decided,
brother, I just want to hold you from
sure.
I'm really super stoked about, from being a British, the moment you speak Vietnamese, you can just turn 360 and become a pure Vietnamese speaking, true Vietnamese. that's a compliment to you. You're amazing.
I've been here long enough. Yeah.
Yeah, super amazing. From British to suddenly Vietnam, you can just change channel just like that. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So yeah, I moved up to the coast, and I decided to give the whole entrepreneurial journey a little bit of a pause. So I became a consultant, and I started to work as a restaurant manager or hotel F&B manager consultant in various different bars and restaurants and hotels along the beach. But again, I didn't like it. I was being told what to do by somebody else. I was earning okay money, but it wasn't amazing money. And then all of a sudden I see a beach club for sale.
Wow.
I'm like, I can do this. So I scraped together every single penny that I had, and I bought this beach club. And it was the worst investment, the worst business decision that I ever made in my life. I found myself working 18 hours every day. I was doing everything from cleaning the toilets to DJing, to bartending, to cooking or washing up. I was doing everything. And I was constantly having to teach my staff, and never had enough staff. And it turned into a nightmare. And at the same time, we had a bit of a tourist downfall. And it became very difficult to make money there. And I was struggling, really struggling. And again, I had a family to support, not just my wife and my daughter, but Asian style. I had her brother and 2 sisters and cousin, and they were all living with us.
The whole gang, huh?
Yeah. So I had to take care of everybody, and I managed to do it, but it was really hard. And after about 2 years, 2.5 years doing this beach club, I found myself at the end of the high season without even enough money to pay the rent for the next year of the property. And I had to let it go. I had to literally give back the property with everything that I'd invested in it to the owner. And I didn't have a penny to my name. And at the same time, my now ex-wife decided that, you know, okay, husband who's broke, who doesn't really have a business, probably not the best investment. So we broke up. I still had to, of course, take care of my daughter. And I took a big decision then, and I went back to the UK. I bought a one-way ticket. I sold my only possession, which was a motorbike. I bought a one-way ticket back to the UK, and I became a truck driver. And I started driving container trucks. And it took me about 6 months to get the licenses, to build myself up from a small truck to get the licenses to drive the big container trucks. And I did this because I had to get myself back on my feet. I had to pay for my daughter. I had to keep the family going, even though I was separated from my ex-wife, and I needed to keep going somehow. And I hadn't lived in the UK for 20 years at this point. And it was a really hard decision. I went from being a business owner, respected in the local community, to being a truck driver, right? And I was able to make decent money again. And in the UK, you know, you can drive trucks and you can make good money. And I was, again, working 15-hour days. I was working as maximum amount of hours as possible. I was sleeping in my truck every night, so I didn't have any overheads. I was eating literally 10 pounds, no, 12, 13 US dollars worth of food per week. Yeah, I would buy in the cheap budget supermarket, cook myself in the, I was the only truck driver in the UK eating noodles with chopsticks inside the truck, right? So,
wow. Okay.
So basically, I stayed there for 2 years. I built up a bit of money, and I needed to find a way out. I needed to find a way that I could come back to Asia, come back to Vietnam, be physically with my daughter. And I didn't want to start a new business again in Vietnam. I didn't want to go back to doing something like teaching English or something like that. I needed a business that I could carry around with me on my laptop. And I'd seen people doing it. When I had my club on the beach, I saw guys coming in, they open their laptop, they do some work for a few hours, they order the most expensive dishes from the menu, they order fancy drinks, fancy cocktails, and after a few hours, they close their laptop and they wander off. And I'm like, what the hell are these guys doing? I need to know more. So I messaged a few of them, and they're like, yeah, we do Amazon, and some of them were doing affiliate marketing, and some of them were doing web design, and some of them were doing Photoshop work, and everybody was doing something different. Online.
Yes.
And they were making money online, and they were able to live in Vietnam relatively cheaply and make Western style or European style money. And they lived a good life. So I wanted to know more. So I tried lots of different courses. I looked into Amazon, but I didn't want to go the same way that I did with my eBay before, because I got burnt with that. I got left with $100,000 worth of products that I couldn't sell at the end of the day. And I didn't want to invest in huge amount of products or stock. So I definitely didn't want to have any physical products that I had to own. Right. And I wanted to do something where I could actually learn from other people. Yeah, where I could actually build up a business with some kind of guidance, some kind of mentorship. Right. And I was looking for something that I could do from a laptop. And I studied lots of different things. I invested in lots of different courses. I tried, and eventually I found 2 guys in the US, and they were using social media marketing. So basically advertising on Facebook. Okay. They were using web funnels. And a web funnel is basically a series of websites where you can lead your customer through a step-by-step predetermined journey and filter them more than anything else. So you bring a lot of customers in one end, and then at the other end, you just get the strong, solid, golden leads at the end of it, right? Right. Then they were using consultative selling techniques, and they were using all of this to promote a network marketing company, not in Ajit. Okay. And this network marketing company was, honestly, I didn't really understand it. It was a little bit scammy. I think it was some kind of cashback website based in Dubai. I never understood it. I was never passionate about it. I couldn't sell something that I wasn't passionate about. Yet I loved the business model, and I studied this business model, and I learned this business model. And I'm not a tech guy. I'd never used social media before, ever. I didn't even have a Facebook account until 2015.
Okay.
And I all of a sudden loved it. And I realized that I could use this business model to sell incredible products and make some seriously good business, but I didn't have a good product to sell. And all of a sudden in 2016, whilst I was still driving my truck in the UK, I came across a web class introducing Enagic, introducing, first of all, the products. Okay. Secondly, the business model. Thirdly, the compensation plan. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. If I can take this and I can put it with my online sales system that I've already learned to do, this is like a marriage made in heaven, right? And that's what I did.
I want to hold you there for a while.
Sure.
I want to know what made you go, wow. What is it that you saw in Enagic, in Kangan, that made you go, wow? Because you know what I mean, right? There are a lot of people many people who look at the same thing have different reaction. So some people look at it as, there's probably an overpriced water machine.
Sure.
Oh, that probably is another MLM scam. Oh, that is probably something that is, trying to rip people off. But when you saw this thing, the first thing is a wow. That's your response, a wow.
Yeah.
So I want to know, and I'm very sure the audience wants to know, what did you see that made you go, wow?
Firstly, there's a lot of products out there, right?
Yeah.
All kinds of products that basically nobody needs.
Right.
This is a product that gives you the best quality water imaginable, the second best quality water in the world. Yeah. First best quality, if you live on the side of a mountain, you have a spring coming out of the side of your mountain. That's the best, obviously, but we don't all have that. So the second best is Kangen water. And who doesn't drink water? Yeah, you literally, you have the full total population of the world is a potential customer for your product. Okay.
Right.
Secondly, the biggest problem with bottled water in the world is that bottled water companies do not manufacture water. Bottled water companies manufacture plastic bottles, right? And this is something that we need to get rid of, and this world needs to get rid of. And already we see many countries around the world, they ban plastic bags in supermarkets. And I'm convinced that within the next few years, there will be a global ban on plastic bottles, right?
All right.
This is something that is happening already in certain countries. I believe this is coming. Thirdly, we're giving a water that is good for our health, okay? That is not only good for our own health, but good for our family's health, good for everybody. And who doesn't want to take care of their family's health, okay? So I saw it as being an environmentally friendly product, yeah? Selling water, which is essentially something that everybody needs and something that is good for the family's health.
Right.
That's the product. And I was already like, wow, this is really cool product. Second, we start to talk about the business model. Okay. I have never seen a comp plan or a business model to rival this one ever in my life. I've never seen anything that has been put together in such an inspired way that keeps changing as we grow throughout our business journey and keeps making sure that we are not just making a little bit of money, but making enough money to actually change our lives, change our families' lives, change our neighbors' lives, change our colleagues' lives, change everybody around our lives. Right. And this is something that I was blown away. I didn't even know it was possible to make kind of commission like that, and to make that commission whilst growing a team, whilst helping other people out, whilst introducing a business model to other people. And effectively, there's something that I forget who said it, some famous guy from history somewhere or other. He's like, would you rather sell one product and make $100, or would you rather teach 100 people to sell that same product and make $1 from each one of those sales? And I'm like, I can empower 100 people and I can make $1, and I can still make that $100, and then I can take it and give it to 1,000 people or 10,000 people or 100,000 people. And I can continue using that kind of leverage, yeah, to compound my earnings whilst helping other people out. It's a win-win situation. So I was instantly sold, literally instantly. At the end of the web class, I went out and I checked my online banking. I didn't have enough money in my online bank in order to buy the machine, but I was able to get a credit card straight away. Boom, I took it. I bought myself a trifecta. And back in the day, and this is like 6 years ago, nobody really talked about trifectas. In fact, Enagic didn't even recognize what a trifecta is. Do you guys use trifectas now?
No. In Malaysia, in Asia, this is new because I'm not sure. I can't basically say it on behalf of all of Asia. But as far as my team is concerned, I came in with a trifecta. Even Magic wasn't even in Malaysia.
Yeah.
The fact is that because when you start to see it from an eyes of an entrepreneur, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? You invest 2 accounts and you get paid twice for the same effort. Your investment is a one-time pain, but the gain is coming forever. So when you are seeing it from a network marketing eyes or an entrepreneurial eyes, it's a no-brainer. Whether it's a trifecta or it's a quad factor, you know. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's how.
We got a question in the chat. I see Deborah is asking, what do you call 4 accounts? That's a quad, right? So no problem. We can have quads. Quads is what me and my team sell more than anything else nowadays. Yeah, quad is where it's at. You start off with a quad and basically you're earning 3 points commission from day one. Yeah, it's super, super powerful. Anyway, back to the story. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was sold into Enagic instantly. I got it. I understood it straight away. I already had the sales plan. Yeah, the sales machine ready to go. All I needed was a decent product to match it with. And Enagic came along. I started, and that was in 2016.
Okay.
I continued driving truck for more 6 months. I was using advertising, Facebook advertising. So I was pumping money into advertising. I was getting leads coming all over the place. I built up a funnel. I put my leads through a funnel. And within 6 months, not quite, maybe 5 months, I was making more money from my Enagic business than I was from driving the truck in the UK.
Wow.
And at this point,
just hold you there for a while. This whole funnel system, you picked it up from those guys that was promoting the thing from Dubai and all that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So the funnel thing, I'd already learned it using some other product, but not a good product. And yeah, it literally, I saw that it was working. So I was what, 3A, almost 4A in Enagic. I just made a few sales and I quit my job. I went over to the US in 2016 to the Las Vegas event. That event blew my mind. I went from being alone for 2 years inside a truck in the UK to being in a room full of 5,000 people who were crazy fanatical about Enagic. And I'm like, wow, I was already convinced about the business. I was already convinced about the product. And then to be surrounded by so many people who absolutely love this product, it 10x for me the potential of the business that I'd already found myself in, that I was already getting success selling. So instantly it increased my drive. And that drive for me led me straight back to Vietnam, led me online. I pushed, and I built up a team very, very quickly from that point.
Nate, why did you go back to Vietnam to do this? You could have easily done it in the UK.
I wanted to be with my daughter.
Okay.
My whole goal throughout all of this was to be back with her physically and to be able to take care of her. She was living with her mom, but I wanted to have her at least with me at weekends, and I wanted to be present in her life, right?
She's your number one why, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
We all need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
So from Vietnam, I grew my business. We were doing live web classes at 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. to suit the UK market, then at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. to suit the US market. You know, it was non-stop work. It wasn't healthy work. It was working all night long work. You know, I didn't take this as like the opportunity to put my feet up or, you know, take an easy life or anything like that. I was 100% in, and I pushed this business and I worked very, very hard to build it up. And I think it took me about 8 months to get to 6A.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And
when I got to 6A, go on.
Yeah, Nate, 8 months, 6A, that means 100 machines in about 8 months, right? And how many percentage of those are from the internet?
Oh, I would say 95%.
Wow. Guys, are you all
95%.
listening to this? Guys? Internet is possible, all right?
It's not only possible, it's the
is the
way to go.
go.
It's
It's the
the
way
way
to
to
go.
go. It's
Yeah.
the future, right?
Yeah.
Inagic is an incredible company. It's a traditional company. It's a company that has been really based in a very traditional sales way
Okay.
until 2016. And all of a sudden in 2016, we kicked in and put the internet, me and there was a few other teams that really started to leverage the internet. And instead of doing live demos to a small room full of people, we could do a live web class to thousands of people in one go.
Wow.
And that changed everything. And that web class, it wasn't that we had to then get on the phone with everybody at the end of it. There's always a limited amount of people in the demo who are going to buy, right? It's not everybody who's going to buy. And we don't want to talk to the people who don't want to buy. It's not that we don't like them. It's not that we're impolite. It's that we don't want to waste our time and we don't want to waste their time, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden, having a web class connected to a funnel means that all of the people who are interested, they can move forward. And all of the people who are not interested, all they have to do is click away. They can go about their day. They can enjoy their life. Yeah. And I don't need to deal with them.
Wow.
So it instantly allowed us to talk to the right people straight away and to have a lot of very high quality leads to bring into our business. And I found that rather than selling the products directly, I found that the best way to do it was to sell business 80%. Products 20%. Focus on the business. I'm a businessman. Whether I was successful or not wasn't this thing. It was like, business is my thing. Numbers is my thing. I understand numbers and I can put out to people. I can really show people with, okay, you want to invest $5,000 in a product. Let's say, yeah, you invest $5,000 in a product. You take it home, you put it in your kitchen, you can use it and you can get good water that changes your health. Yes, it's an amazing product. I can tell you all day long about the benefits of the product, but that $5,000 is always going to be a little bit expensive. Even to people with money, they're always going to think, that's a lot of money. If I can show you that you can sell 8 products and get that $5,000 back, then wait, you spent nothing. You put down some money and you've got it back after 8 sales only, right? And that's if you're not interested in the business. If you're only interested in making a return on your investment. If you want to focus on the business, I will teach you how. And not only will I teach you how, I will teach you how to make that $5,000 buck every month.
Wow.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, that $5,000 all of a sudden is not very expensive at all. In fact, that's a really good deal, right? So that is what we sell to people. We show people the products. We show them how amazing the products are, but then we go very quickly into the comp plan and show people how they can, in turn, not only be a user of the product, but be a seller of a product. And that is the way to move forward.
Awesome, Nate. Just a quick one, guys. Do you realize Nate is talking like me, or I'm talking like Nate? So, guys, I'm just telling you that this whole approach on the business is not a Gary Gan thing. Every top leader is talking about this. Can you hear that? Can you listen to this? So I got 90% business, 10% product.
Yeah.
Nate is about the same. 80% product, business, 20% product. It's always that mindset shift, guys. You need to play this game to win. Okay, so Nate, thank you for once again, how should I say it? Once again, reaffirming this point about selling the business part of Kangen. Product is good. It's simply amazing. You need to tell about it, but it's a 10 to 20% explanation.
Kangen is a full package. Yeah. Inagic is a full package. It's not just a product. It's a product and a business together in a bundle. Yeah. If you want to just sell a product, go out and sell products. Yeah. You can do that all day long. There are plenty of products that you can sell. You sell the product, the customer gives you the money. You're happy. They're happy. We part direction. Yeah. Kangen, Inagic, it is a business attached to a product. It is a way of changing our health. Yeah, physically, but also financially. And we don't forget that. So it's really important to come in, and it's really important to really put up front the whole business package, because we need to share that just as much as the water, if not more than the water.
Yeah. And I think, Nate, you said this perfectly well, which is also the same reaffirming that I've been talking about. I thought I'm the only one that talks like you. I that talks like this. I didn't know that you share the same idea. In any case of 5,000, I don't care if the water can resurrect the dead, but a 5,000 water machine for certain reason, unless the machine is called LV or Louis Vuitton or a Mercedes or a Ferrari, a 5,000 water machine, somehow it still gives people some pain, some
No
form
matter
of
what
pain.
your income level is.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm even talking of the rich people. I'm not just saying the poor people, even because you see, everybody has their same perception of value. So when they see a water machine that's is not making espresso or cappuccino, it's just pouring out normal water from the tap, 5,000 is like, you know, but a 5,000 business, a 5,000 money-making machine is always very cheap. That's what I'm trying to tell people about, how you need to show people the perception of value where they are coming from. So you said it very well. You hit it at the nail, Nate. Thanks for reaffirming that. Okay.
Absolutely welcome.
Coming back to this, Nate, I want to ask you this very important question, because there are a lot of people who are watching you, are very impressed with your results, with what you have done. But again, many times over and over, they always have this question mark. I can't do this. I'm not internet savvy. I am in my 60s. I don't know how to what is a funnel. So what's your advice to these people?
Okay.
How can they at least have a goal in the world of the internet marketing? What's your advice on this?
We have to grow, we have to develop, right? We have to move with the times. Now, I had absolutely no idea what a funnel was until 2015. Yeah, I had used eBay before, but very briefly, and eBay is a very simplified system. Yeah, I put some pictures up and take some money out. And for me to get involved in social media, for example, I never understood social media. Facebook, I think, started in 2005. For me, it was 2015 when I first logged into Facebook. So 10 years, I see all of my friends around, they're sharing pictures of their food and showing which color shirt they're wearing when they're going out. And I'm like, why the hell are people doing this? I don't understand it. I never understood. Why do we need to share all of the things that we're doing in our life? I don't know. I don't care about what you're doing. Yeah. If I meet you, okay. Yeah. But I don't need to see what you're doing for the rest of the week. So all of a sudden, when I got into Facebook, I realized that Facebook could be used to connect with an incredible amount of people. And it is, in actual fact, the single biggest marketing tool this world has ever come up with, ever. We have never before been able to communicate freely with people in Peru, with people in Hong Kong, with people in UK, with people in like Africa. Now, literally, all we have to do is pick up a little phone, right? And we can communicate freely and share ideas with people all over the world. Now, we can do that organically, and that is, you know, what most people use Facebook for. But we can also boost our posts by paying the companies to put our posts in front of 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people, 1 million people. And that is the most powerful thing I ever saw. Instantly, I knew that I had to know more about this. Am I the best marketer in the world? No. Am I the biggest tech guy in the world? Absolutely not. I'm not a tech guy, still not a tech guy. Yeah? I still have to ask questions. But you have to understand the difference between resources and resourcefulness. And this world today, in 2022, we have never had so many resources in the history of mankind.
Yep.
People ask me, they come to me on a daily basis. When we were at the event, yeah, the biggest question that people came and asked me, Nate, what books are you reading? Now, I have to hold my hands up. I'm not a big reader. Yeah, I'm not a guy who goes out and buys loads of books and fills his library. I own a Kindle. I think the last time I uploaded a book onto it was maybe 12 months ago or more, right? However, the most important book that we all have, everybody has, is Google or YouTube. And we can literally now go out and we can ask a question. We don't even need to type. Yeah, we can press a button and we can talk into it and ask a question, and we can get answers from all over the world. And I don't care who you are, how old you are, what your education level is, what your background, your work history, whatever, you can Google, right? You can do the same on YouTube. on YouTube, there are people all over the world who've taken their time to teach you to do pretty much anything you can possibly imagine. Anything you can imagine and you don't know how to do, go onto YouTube right now, hit the search button, talk to it, and there will be somebody who has not only managed to do it, learned to do it, but they filmed up a video just for you and they put it out there on YouTube. So you can learn absolutely anything. So the resources are there for everybody. Right. But the question is, how resourceful are you? It is a question not of the resources. The resources are there. It's a question of your resourcefulness. If you want to tell yourself that you can't do it, then yeah, you've just told yourself, you've convinced yourself that you can't do it. But my answer to that is everybody can do it. And you don't need to be any kind of expert. You don't need to have been to university. You don't need to have learned things from from any kind of experience. Now you have people all over the internet who are ready and willing and have already filmed up little tutorials that you can learn from. And all you got to do is search for it. So the most important skill that anybody can have nowadays, and the only real skill you need, is to be able to click that little microphone button next to the search bar, talk into Google and ask it a question, because you can learn absolutely anything from doing that simple thing. Yeah. So anybody can do it.
Amazing, Nate. Thanks for sharing. And guys, this is coming from Nate, and he is telling you that he himself is not a tech guy. Okay, but you don't need a tech guy, because the best tech guy is here. That's the best tech guy, right? So of course, not just you need to ask Google. Then we spoke about this, Nate. I did tell you that there's another way. It's called collaboration. Remember we spoke about it during the dinner. What's your view about, okay, I don't know how to do this, but I can always collaborate with somebody who knows? What's your view on that?
We can always find people with different skill sets. Yeah. Maybe you are 100% traditional. Maybe you don't even like to use computers or anything like that. And maybe you're happy to do demos. Maybe you're happy to introduce the water and just let people share your water. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe you love it. And that's great. I respect you for that. But I'm sure you've got like a 20-year-old nephew somewhere who is a complete and a tech genius. And he, given the right business but we all have in the power of our hands, he can take it in that online level. Yeah, he can do it in a different way. And it's really important to see that everybody has access to all different kinds of people. We don't have to do the things that we're not comfortable doing. All we have to do is we have to have conversations with the people who know how to do things. So yeah, collaboration, and to collaborate with people and at the same time have the most incredible business model in the palm of your hands. Yeah, is something that is really powerful, because you can literally give that business model to so many different kinds of people from different backgrounds, different educations, different walks of life, and they will all do something completely different with it, but can all succeed in their own ways.
Yeah, amazing. So guys, here is the thing, okay? You and I know that Enagic has the best platform, but Enagic can't do one thing for you. Enagic can't do this. It has the best platform, it has the best product, it's the best compensation plan, it has the best time freedom vehicle for you. It cannot.
Got a picker for Joshua C.
Who is speaking? Hello?
All right.
Somebody talking there? Charger, can you handle that, Charger?
Yes. Let me find it.
Yeah, that's Kang's iPhone. There, I can see Kang's iPhone is not muted. Can you do a mute for all and not having them to unmute? Can you do that, Charger?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, where was I? Gosh, Kang, you owe me one lunch. Okay, anyway. Where was I? Yeah.
So Enagic has the best comp plan, but there's one thing.
So Enagic, okay. Yeah, here is how I want to put it. So Enagic gives you an amazing car. It's like a Tesla Model X, because I just sat in a Tesla Model X from San Diego to LA. Amazing, the wing door and everything. Now Tesla gives you that car, but it can't do one thing for you. It can't drive for you. I know there's an auto drive thing, but you still need to start it up yourself and drive it, and then press that feature. So Enagic gives you a Tesla, a vehicle to get you from nothing, from literally living on the street, I met a lady, a Japanese lady in Seattle. She was homeless. Today she's a -3. The whole of Indonesia is under her.
Wow.
Japanese lady. So Enagic can give you a magical vehicle, but Enagic can't do one thing for you, that is to bring this thing to the world.
Mm-hmm.
What Nate is trying to tell you is the internet can do this for you. It does it very well for you. So that's why there's a lot of questions. I was doing so many talks in the US the last couple of weeks, and everybody keep asking me the same question. Gary, do I need to be on the internet? Gary, do I need to go internet marketing? Gary, I'm not good at it. And I always tell them the answer is a big YES. You need, because if that is the superhighway, that is where everybody is traveling. That is where everybody's eyeballs is. If you are not there, you are missing out big time. But I always tell them, the good news is you don't have to do it yourself if you don't want to. You can always get somebody to do it. Have creative. That's why I like what you mentioned, Nate, is really, really true. The resources are all there. You just need to be resourceful enough to get these resources, creative enough to get them. But the answer is yes. That's the reason why as soon as I got back here, I want Nate to talk to you all. Because the answer is a big YES. The internet is not going to go away, guys. Tomorrow, Google will still be there. Facebook will still be there. YouTube will still be there. You know, so you have to be there. I know, I can see some of my team, a lot of my team members are here. I know a lot of you are not on doing what Nate is doing. But my point is, you have to do what he's doing. But you don't need to know don't need to know how, because there's many ways you can do it without even knowing how. Collaboration is one of them. Asking Dr. Google is another. Do a win-win project with somebody is another way, you know. But the answer is yes. This guy became -4 in 6 years through the internet. Am I right, Nate?
Yeah.
How many percent?
And I was never actually face to face with anybody doing it, right? I was just in my own home in front of my laptop, and now I have my own little studio. I'm in a fixed place, but before I was traveling around. I was in various different places all of the time and continually working. Yeah.
And this guy doesn't even have a team or anybody. I was told he has only 1 or 2 users in Vietnam. Yeah. He's living in a place in Vietnam, and his business is not even in Vietnam. It's all over the world, in US and Europe.
82 countries now.
How many countries?
82.
82, guys. Can you imagine trying to talk to people in 82 countries without the internet? Ask yourself this question. I'm not here to tell you what's right, what's wrong, what you do. But look, this is possible. Okay? Seriously, the internet is a must. M-U-S-T. Find a way. Instead of saying, no, I don't know how to do it. Okay, let's forget it. Move on. Find a way to get yourself in it, because this is going to change your business 100, 1,000, 1,000,000 folds. Okay, and Nate has just tell you about all this. So, okay, Nate, I just want to deep dive into something, because a lot of people who have heard about this but not sure about this, and they are not, you know, we came from a traditional way of building Kangen, including myself. The live demo versus video demo. Now, I know you come from that spectrum. So I want to ask you this question. Does a video demo really work? I want you to explain, because to a lot of people, a video demo is a nice to see, but nah, it doesn't work, you know. So you build your business mainly on the internet. Tell us, does the live video work or not actually?
The video that you put out, okay, if you're just purely doing a demo, if you're showing the machine and showing the functions of the machine, yeah, it looks nice and all, but you need to focus on what you can really put out over video. You can't get somebody to try a glass of water over the video. Yeah, it's not going to happen. We don't have that level of technology yet. Okay. But what we do have is the ability to show people numbers, show people the business. We can show people, like we were saying before, 10%, 20% about the machine, but we can show people all about the numbers and all about the business. And anybody who's got any business sense whatsoever will understand A, what the numbers mean, and B, that it's an incredibly good deal, right? And that is something that we can do via video. Now, if you're going to be doing your live demos, you are going to sacrifice pretty much a day of your life every time you're going to be doing one of those demos. And you're going to sacrifice a day in your life for how many people would you normally get on a live demo? 10, 20, 100. Yeah. And those people, they're all going to see one day of your lives work for one time only. Whereas you can put a video out and that video can be watched by millions, literally millions of people over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And that video will do the work for you. It's like when you write a book, okay? So we all know about authors, how an author works. You write a book, you might take a year, to write a book, 2 years to write a book, but you publish your book and you put it out there and it goes in the bookstore. And what happens when it's in the bookstore already? You get paid every time somebody buys your book, right? And in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, when you've even forgot about the time that it took you to write that book in the first place, you are still gonna get paid every time somebody buys that book from you. And the video works in exactly the same way. That video continues to do your work long after that you've put your camera away. So you have to struggle. I remember the first ever time I filmed a video. It was in 2016, like in January 2016. And I went onto the rooftop of the Rex Hotel in downtown Saigon. And I'd never filmed a video before in my life. And all I needed to do, I actually stole somebody else's video. I was using a video from somebody else and I needed to put like a 10-15 second intro on the front of the video using my face. And I'd written it out and I wasn't feeling very confident. So I went to the barber shop, I got a haircut, I got a shave, a little bit of a massage, neck rub. And I went out to the rooftop and I put my camera, just my phone. We all have a recording studio now. We don't need professional equipment. Literally, phone is all you need. You have everything there. So I put my phone on a tripod and I started talking, and it took me 36 attempts. I still have it in my Google Photos, 36 videos of me messing up, of me making a video, even though it was only 15 seconds long, that wasn't good enough. And I kept doing it again, and people were staring at me and like, why are you repeating the same thing over and over again into the camera? I'm like, whatever, ignore me. And I kept putting that video out until I got it kind of right. And I was semi-satisfied at the end after 36 times. And after 36 times, I'm like, okay, that will do. It's good enough. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. So I went home and I used just an editor on my phone and I stuck my little intro on the front of this other video that I downloaded. And I put that video out on my Facebook page and I paid Facebook, I forget how much, maybe a couple of $100 to promote that video. And I got 1.4 million views.
Whoa. Guys,
on my first ever video, 1.4 million views.
Okay. Before that, Nate, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it legally okay to use somebody's video and post it like what
with
you
their
did?
permission? Yeah.
Oh, you had permission from that person?
Yeah.
Okay.
I messaged that person. I'm like, can I use your video? Yeah. So it was okay. You can bend the rules a little bit, you know, but yeah, you might get some trouble in the long term if you're going to be using somebody's video. So this was somebody else's video. I got it with their permission and I bolted my video onto the front of it. 1.4 million views. Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the thing that started my business. And now that's not because I'm super popular. That's not because I have like 5 million friends online or whatever. It is because I paid Facebook a few $100s to promote that video. Just video views. I wasn't asking for anything. I wasn't asking anybody to click on my website or go here or whatever. I just wanted Facebook to put it in front of people. And that 1.4 million views is how I started my business. Yeah.
And what, if you don't mind, was there any conversion in that 1.4 million?
It's difficult to tell because I wasn't trying to convert. Yeah, that wasn't my intention. My intention was literally just to put it in front of people's eyes to see what would happen. But I did get a lot of comments. I did get a lot of messages. I did get a lot of people who were very interested in what I had to say. So I can't tell you exactly what kind of conversion rate it is, but from that onwards, I got a lot of people whose eyes were on my fan page, my new business page that I'd set up.
Wow.
And that allowed me to put more posts on my fan page, more direct, more specific posts. And there were already people who had their eyes on me because of that video that they saw.
Wow. So, yeah. So what you are saying is that the internet is the greatest, is the greatest tool to bring people to you.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
here we have
Imagine you have a shop on a
Yeah.
street, yeah, with 3 billion people walking past your shop every day. That's essentially what Facebook does for us. And it's
Right.
not just Facebook, yeah. Now we have TikTok, we have Reddit, we have YouTube, we have LinkedIn, we have so many different platforms that are doing a similar job. And Facebook may or may not be with us forever. It doesn't matter. There
Right.
will be 100 other ones right behind it. And there will
Right.
always be some coming up and some coming down. And
Right.
they allow us to literally use, to have our shop front with 3 billion people walking past it.
Right. And
This is what you cannot ignore.
Yeah, that's why guys, when you listen to stories like this from Nate, it again reaffirms that you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot ignore the internet. You every day that you are not on the internet, how can you imagine just one video that is not even done by him? It's just the intro is done by him, 1.4 million. Okay, but of course, guys, again, the internet is always remember that pay $1 to get 2. You need to pay something. There are a lot of people who expect free for nothing. Guys, okay, Nate, I want you to also explain what's the logic about paying in the internet.
Okay, so of course we can be organic, right? So we can make a really nice video and maybe, just maybe, it will go viral. But the chances are that it won't. In fact, it's like lightning, being struck by lightning. Yeah, if you get viral, you got lucky. Let's face it, you got lucky, or you're really, really good at what you do, or you've built up a following over many, many years, or whatever. You've worked hard to make a video work, unless you get lucky, and it doesn't happen to most people. But when you're paying a social media platform to promote your post, you are literally allowing that platform to put your post in front of people who don't know who you are, who've never seen you before. Now, if you're putting a video out, we can do something called retargeting. Yeah. So we put one video out and just randomly in front of as many people as possible. And then we can retarget and we can put that same video out in front of all of the people who actually took the time to watch our video. So if, let's say, only 1% of the 10 million people that see your video actually watch it, we can retarget that 1%. And we can put it in front of 100,000 people, the next video that we put out. And then the third video, we put it out just in front of the people who actually watch both of those videos. And by the end of the week or the month or however long you want it, yeah, you're putting a video out in front of people who've seen your face every single day for the past month. And all of a sudden, in their eyes, in their opinion, you're now some kind of online celebrity, right? And it happens very, very quickly because we are telling Facebook or whichever social media platform that you're using to put that video in front of anybody who's watched more than 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds of the previous video. And by doing that, you're becoming a minor celebrity in those people's eyes. And when they see you talking about things and they're actually interested in watching your videos, you don't need to be selling anything. We're not talking about from day one, please buy my stuff. You know, nobody cares about videos like that. We're talking about putting something interesting, something valuable, something entertaining out there. And once we've built a rapport, just like in everyday life, yeah, you don't call your lead straight away and say, bye, bye, bye. We build up a relationship. We go and sit down and have tea with their grandmother, right? And it's really important to build that rapport with people. And we can do the same thing over video as we can in real life. And once we have that rapport, once we have a person's attention, then we can start to bring certain subjects, some certain topics into the conversation. We can start to talk about what we do. We start to talk about our lifestyle, start to talk about our business. And that is how we start to sell. We don't do it direct. Yeah. Don't have some flashy advert putting out there. That's not how it works. We're literally a real person putting out some real value, some real story, you know, some real bit of information online, and it appeals to people. And we're building relationships, we're building rapport. But rather than taking our time to build a relationship with one person face to face, we're able to build a relationship with 100,000 people at the same time. Amazing. That's the power of the internet.
Wow. Nate, your session is really mind-blowing. Now I while listening to you, I have so much ideas flying into my head right now. I'm getting a head freeze. Okay. Nate, here's another question that's not internet related. And this is a question I always ask all my interviewers since 3 years ago that I've started this session every single month. Let's just say you meet somebody in the airplane, talk to you, then you have a conversation, and that person throws you the ultimate golden question. So Nate, what do you do?
Yeah.
So what will you say if somebody asks you, what do you do? What would you
Okay. I really struggle with that one because I do so many things on so many levels. So what do I do? Ultimately, I help people start businesses. That's what I do. Yeah. If you want the long answer, then it's not really so appropriate to tell the random person, but I help people to start businesses. And when I say that, some people are like, oh yeah, cool. That's good for you. No problem. But some people, they're like, what kind of businesses? What exactly do you do? And by giving a very vague title to what it is that I do, I develop interest in other people. Now, I talk about online, and I've been talking about online for the past half an hour, maybe more. However, my latest -3, I met him on a bus.
Wow.
I met him on a bus between Saigon and Cambodia. And it was a night bus, and we had a 15-minute conversation. As we got on the bus, we went to sleep. And the next day when we got off the bus, he's like, yeah, last night you were talking about this business that you were starting. And it was right in the beginning, before I was experienced or successful in any way at all. And he's like, yeah, I really enjoyed that conversation we had. Do you mind giving me your phone number? Yeah, sure. You can have my phone number. 2 weeks later, we were back in Saigon. He calls me up. He's like, can you show me more about this business? I showed him more about the business. And 2 months later, when I was back in the UK driving the truck, he messages me again. And he's like, yeah, I'd really like to do this business with you. He's now my -3.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's also a foreigner, a white guy.
Yeah. He's English and from Wales,
Oh,
and he's done exactly the same journey as me by working online, by selling online. But yeah, we met on a bus. And like we were talking about before, collaboration, I'm 47 years old now. I was 40 years old, 41 years old when I started the business. But he was 25. And, he has the good looks of the guy who can put himself out on video. He's got a 6-pack, and he can walk up and down on the beach. And a lot of people are going to be drawn to his video more than an old guy like me, right? And again, that collaboration, that empowering a guy who didn't have the same level of experience as me, who didn't have the same skill set as me, but had a lot more ability to appeal to a younger generation than me, allowed me to work with him very, very effectively. And basically, he is now, I think, responsible for about 60% of the UK market.
Wow.
Yeah, it's under him and he's under me, right? So yeah, and that guy, we met on a bus. We had a 10-15-minute conversation on a bus. So I'm not saying use online and only use online and never talk to anybody else, right?
Your mouth is your office.
Always, whether it's online, offline, anywhere. Anybody who wants to get close to me, they're going to have to listen to what I have to say. And if they don't want to listen to what I have to say, they need to move on, right?
I think Nate, because of time constraint, maybe what do you think is a good idea? We should do one more session that we talk a bit more detail about internet marketing.
No problem. And in the meantime, you can allow your team, because I see a lot of people asking a lot of questions here.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's allow your team to come up with some really, deep, important, whatever questions, things that they actually absolutely want to know. And we can do a Q&A or something like that, right?
Yes. Guys, just out of curiosity, how many of y'all would like to know more about this internet marketing with Kangen? Give me a 5. Give me a 5 in the chat button. If I don't see many response, maybe it's not that important, Anybody here? Not fast enough. I want to see faster.
They are smashing that 5 button.
Yeah, every time this topic comes up, I know the response is really awesome. Yeah, so yeah, guys, and again, what Nate has showed you is again the antidote to. A lot of people always tell me, Gary, I've exhausted my contacts. Gary, I don't know anybody. I'm just working as a nurse, or I'm just working as a waiter, Hey, guys, the answer is staring you right at the face. Is the internet, guys. Yeah, of course, you need to be talking to everybody. Why not do both, the internet and the physical?
And
That's
the
the
internet
best way.
doesn't stop on your doorstep. It doesn't stop in your village, your hometown, your city, your country. Yeah, it has no borders. You can literally talk to people anywhere in the world. You can start a brand new franchise in a country that has never heard of or hardly ever heard of Enagic. That's how I managed to have 60% of UK sales within my organization, because I was one of the first guys to put it there, simply. And you guys can do that.
So Nate, do you in your business building strategy, do you teach internet marketing to your people, or you let them find it out themselves, or what?
We have training programs, right? So anybody who comes in to the business, they will be given access to some kind of training which will show them how to build up. But ultimately it's down to themselves, because everybody, if I put an ad out that works for me and some 25-year-old blonde girl wants to put that same ad out, it's probably not going to work for her. Her market is going to be very, very different. So ultimately, we all have to work it out for ourselves as far as the advertising. But in the back end, particularly about the funnel and how to actually specifically run ads, all of that information we provide to people. But again, all of that information is literally at your fingertips right now. It's Googleable, it's searchable on YouTube. Yeah, you can get out and you can search for how to make a basic web funnel and find that information. It's not rocket science. It's not a trade secret. Yeah, I'm not doing anything that's exclusive or amazing. You can search right now, right here on YouTube today, and you can find a lot of information out there. Yeah. It's not, and maybe even do it, better than the way that I did it. My system works, but it's not high tech or anything like that. It's quite basic.
Nate, I've got some people who have been involved with network market, with Kangan over the internet. In the last couple of years, maybe 1 or 2 years, or during the COVID, I'm not sure. They said that the algorithm or the rules in Facebook has changed. Is that something that we need to be concerned about?
The rules are constantly changing, constantly. Okay. And that is something that is just like the weather outside. Yeah, it's always going to be a little bit different. And can
you still do the same ads like you did before?
They change. I mean, okay, the biggest thing that people come to tell me in my team, yeah, it was easy for you because when you started 6 years ago, you were doing it and it was so much easier and nobody had heard of it. So you had all the market share to yourself. Okay. And right now I'm getting my team ranking up way faster than what I ever did before. Yeah, I'm getting 682s now. It took me 2 years to hit 682. And now in my team, 18 months is quite normal for somebody to hit 682. Wow. And that is using the same basic system as what I did. But of course, people are changing the way that they use it. And we always have to adapt. We always have to try new methods. If we're going to copy, I could tell you, I mean, people are asking for the training program. If people are asking me exactly how I did it 6 years ago, 5 years ago, it's not going to work for you right now. I can give you basic advice, of course, but ultimately it's up to you to make it work. And it's up to you to make it work in your own image, your own flavor, your own personality. Yeah. And it's got to be done for you in your own language, even depending on where you're going to put it out. Obviously, English may or may not be the best choice of language. There might be a lot of cultural differences that you are going to have to be aware of and you're going to have to put into play depending on where you're going to put out either your ad or where you're going to start searching online. You don't even need to put ads. I have many people who don't use ads at all. They put stories out on TikTok and Instagram, and those stories are powerful enough to bring people in. And I've got several 6As and above who've never run a single ad. Yeah, you don't have to run ads. Ads is one way of doing it, only one way. There are so many ways of searching online. You can get yourself into a Facebook group today or tomorrow, yeah, into a new group, a business group, and start commenting, adding value into the group for like 1 or 2 weeks. And once people have started to see your name appear and they're comfortable and they see you as being an authority, then people will reach out to you. You don't have to go out and look for anybody. Let them come to you instead. There's so many ways of doing it. I'm not going to try to list them all right now, but yeah, if you guys have got questions, then please, hand them over to Gary, and we can do a Q&A another time.
I'll probably fly over and hang out with you for a week.
Absolutely, join me in the studio, man. I'll put up a chair for you. Yeah, we're ready to go here. Yeah, and,
yeah. So okay, we are coming to the last few questions. Wow, Nate, I mean, when we are having fun, times really flies. Is already coming to 1.5 hours of our session already. So Nate, what's your greatest advice to a new person now? Okay, now this is purely Energic, purely Kangen. This person just joined, seeing your lifestyle, seeing my lifestyle, seeing a lot of people going up on stage, getting all these big achievements. What's your one big advice for them, about what
doesn't matter how you are talking to people, you have to talk to people. Okay, be it online, be it offline, be it someone you've met on a bus, it doesn't matter. You need to talk to people. In order to talk to people, you need to have a certain amount of knowledge. So the first thing that you need to do is to understand what the machines are, what they actually do, and more importantly, how the compensation plan works and how you can grow and build a business using this incredible compensation plan. Because people, they're going to be interested in you. They're going to be interested in what you're doing. People are going to ask you questions. And if you can't competently and confidently deliver an answer, then it shows that you don't really know your stuff. And I've seen a lot of people use the most amazing tools, but as soon as they get a question asked, they don't oh, well, I'm just going to go and ask my upline, or I'm going to search for it and come back to it. It doesn't look good. Yeah. So no matter what techniques you're using to talk to people, please make sure that you understand a minimum about the product and the compensation plan. Absolutely essential.
Yeah, Gary, you just muted. Yeah.
I muted myself and I can't unmute myself. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's exactly is true. A lot of people want to know technique, but again, the knowledge, you need to get it.
No matter what, you need it.
No matter what. And one thing is knowledge. And do you realize that, of course, Nate talks about the internet, but do you realize that when he speaks with a certain level of confidence? So you must also understand that self-development is also part of this whole journey of becoming successful in Kangen. That's why when we do our leadership seminar, those of you who are in Kangen Power Team that you are coming in October, we emphasize a lot on leadership, a lot on self-development, because it is a parallel journey. You need these two to go together. It's not just about, okay, I just paid ads, I just send all this information, I see it, and then money comes to me. No, it has always got to be a parallel self-development process as well. Okay. Yeah. My last two questions to you, Nate, is when people say, maybe for a certain reason you get in touch with them, and I'm not sure if you have actually experienced this, but if people say that the Kangen $5,000 is expensive, what's your response to these people?
Well, if we're talking about a water machine purely, then yeah, you have to agree with them a little bit, right? And it's definitely at the higher end of the scale, and that makes sense. So we don't just talk about a water machine. We have to talk about the business. And for me, I am a guy who started so many different businesses, and pumping 50 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand into a business is quite normal. And not only is it normal, but particularly in the restaurant industry, to get a return on that investment within 18 months or 2 years is pretty normal, pretty good going if you are successful. And I think in the restaurant industry, the statistics at the moment is 30% of all restaurants are going to fail within a year anyway. So there's a good chance that you're never even going to make a return on that investment. So if you're looking for a business that is going to allow you to generate a very comfortable income, sustainably and for the long term, and you only have to pay 5 grand, or let's say 5 to 10 grand if you're looking at trifectas or quads as well. Honestly, that's the biggest bargain of the century. It is the best deal you are ever gonna come across, and you get a water machine for free.
Wow! I didn't know I have a twin brother now in Vietnam. We talk the same lingo, my friend. Wow. Yeah. So again, guys, if you don't want to have the high risk of rejection, talk about the business, because a $5,000 global business is I like what Nate says, the bargain of the century.
Absolutely.
You cannot find a global business for $5,000, even 30,000. Okay. So if you want to have your rejection lower, show them the product, no doubt. but go with the business, because a business investment is definitely going to be so much lower, the price. All right. Nate, my last question for you today is, is Enagic your first network marketing company, Nate?
No, third.
Okay, second.
Third. Yeah.
So what do you think of Enagic as a company and Mr. and Mrs. Oshiro as the founder, since you also met them personally a few times?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Oshiro is an incredible guy. I mean, the life in that guy, and the hospitality and the warmth and the caringness. It's a family business. You are working for a huge global billion-dollar company, right? But again, it's a family business that you're part of, and you're very much welcomed into it as a family business, not only by the Oshiros and by Enagic worldwide and by their staff and by their offices, but also by your competitors, also by the other people who are out there distributing, right? And this is the beautiful thing that I have never experienced anywhere else. Myself and Gary, we're not affiliated. We don't work with each other. Yeah. However, at the same time, I'm more than happy to provide value to you, and you're more than happy to help me out if I should need it. And that is something that I've found across the board within Enagic. Yeah. And every single time that I've ever come across a shop with an Enagic logo in the window or whatever, and I go in and I have a word with them, I'm welcomed in, I'm sat down, I'm given a cup of coffee. Everybody wants to hear about my story, wants to share their stories about Enagic, etc. It's a real family business, and I feel that way very much so. And I've never felt that way in any business that I've ever done before, ever.
It's like if we see, we can be total stranger from you are white, I'm maybe an Asian, or you are African, I'm maybe some other, but we have one thing in common, Kangen. So always, like you say, when you see Enagic or you see Kangen, you tend to be like, hey, we are same family, And while I was in US for the last 21 days, the last trip, I realized that the 5,000 is so cheap because now I've got network all over the world. Can you imagine? All over the world with $5,000.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
It's like everybody is like my brothers, sisters.
I challenge anybody to come back to me and show me a business quite like it. Yeah, I challenge you. And if you do, I will pay you the 5,000 all day long. Yeah, no problem. But I bet you can. I bet you can.
Yes, yes. So it's again, is price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Correct.
So if you can show people that the value in Kangen exceeds the price, again, we have been talking about this whole time today, your chances of getting somebody on board and wanting to build, just like Nate got his Dash 3 on a bus, is very, very likely. All right.
Even if one last thing, even if that person isn't interested in growing a business, even if that person is comfortable and they really don't care about the business, they just want the machine. I cannot believe that anybody doesn't have 8 people around them in their little personal circle that wouldn't be interested in the machine. And 8 machines sold, and you've paid for your machine. You've got yourself a free machine.
I mean, that's a no-brainer, right, Nate? Think about this. You get the best thing in the world, or second best, like you call it, the water, and you get to have it for free. It's a matter of time. And the 8, that's the beauty here. The 8 doesn't have to be done in a month, in a year, in 3 years. It can be perpetual, So the 8 can be even done in 10 years, and you whatever that you have invested comes to you 0, free. So yeah, that's a really powerful tip I learned today from you, Nate. So Nate, thank you so much. You have been an amazing star with us today. I know there are a lot of questions, guys. While I was hearing from Nate, I've seen people especially asking about your videos, your training and all that. Guys, all I can tell you is don't worry. I'm working out something with Nate. We are going to have a long journey to walk together. Me and my team, I happen to have a sizable team in Vietnam. Okay. And I've got, if you can see one of the lady that's asking over there, my 682-3 in Australia, Win. She's a Vietnamese based in Perth. So I really, really want to work a lot with you, Nate, when I come to Vietnam, or if you do come to Malaysia, be my guest. You know, we can chill out a lot. I mean, you are to me, I consider you an Asian. You are no more a white guy, all right?
I'm honored.
So, yeah. So yeah, those questions that you have for Nate, we'll filter it through. I'll have a personal session with Nate, and I guarantee, guys, all this is that more and more things will be coming to your towards the direction of internet marketing, because I feel that it is very important. And I just want to say this for the record, based on my experience, and this is just my point of view. It doesn't mean that this is what you should be thinking. I was talking to our team today that was walking with me in our morning walk, and we say that the three topic, or the three types of people, or the three groups that you really need to go after. Number one is the internet group. Whether it's an internet marketer, internet expert, or somebody that's doing internet, maybe somebody with experience like Nate, is the internet. That means you need to look at the internet. Second, you need to go for the young. I please don't get me wrong. I'm not talking to discard or don't talk to the senior, but my experience with the young is most of the time they are very, how should I say, they are bendable, they are coachable, they are more open to ideas, and they can do a lot of things you and I cannot do. Am I right, Nate?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's the reason why, guys, if you see, I have a 19-year-old running this show for me. Why? Yeah, because he can do a lot more things that I can't, and a lot of things, like you see all this background that I have, and a lot of things that you see on my social media today is done by a lot of people other than me. So you need to look at that. And the third one is you need to also look with people that has certain amount of contacts. Okay, so the internet can do that for you. But apart from the internet, there are also other sources. Like you can also talk to network marketers, because network marketers are literally, if you can get it, if you can hit it right, they are literally the main people for you. It's just a question of whether they say a yes and no. That's why I said the best bet is talk to them, because if it's a no, no big deal. They don't take a single cent from you. And even if you get 1,000 no's from them, it's okay. But just one yes. And if that yes is a Cynthia, is a Romy, a JV, a Nate, a Gary, your job forever is done. It's forever. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So you need to really focus your attention on these three groups, these three topics: internet, the young, network marketing. Okay. Then there are a lot of things that we are putting in place. Please continue to follow us. Okay. And this interview is the next one in October. I'm going to have another amazing speaker. You don't want to miss it. We will be announcing it. And if you are not part of the Kangen Power Team International Facebook page, you may want to subscribe to it. We put a lot of information there. So Nate, once again, it's been an awesome day today. Any last words that you want to share to the viewers here today? Yeah.
I think we pretty much covered most things, but yeah, more than anything else, I mean, you have the most incredible business at your fingertips, and if you don't fully realize that yet, take it from me, a guy who's had 7 companies beforehand, that this is the most incredible business that I've ever come across, ever. And you know, you are absolutely blessed to be part of it. Now, if this is your first ever business, then congratulations.
Super blessed.
But at the same time, you have no idea how good it is, and you're never going to know how good it is, because you need to experience all the bad ones first. But take it from me that, yeah, you have an incredible business at your fingertips, and now all you need to do is share it. Yeah, get out there and talk to people, have conversations, as many conversations as you can, be it online, be it offline, be it in groups, be it to random strangers that you sit down next to on a park bench or whatever. It doesn't matter. Talk to everybody, because you never know who you're sitting next to. Just like me and Gary, we didn't know that we were sitting in right next to each other in the airplane until a couple of days later when we met up at Mr. Oshiro's house. So yeah, you need to talk to everybody because you never know who that next person who is going to completely and utterly change your life, but in the same time, you are going to be changing their lives too. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nate. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for today's session. You have blessed so many people. I am always have this belief that many years from today, somebody is just going to walk up to you, walk up to me and say that today's session has totally changed their life,
Amazing.
totally gave them a breakthrough. You know, and I believe this is what we are meant to be, what we are meant to do, you know, to continue to change people's lives globally. All right. So once again, thank you. I hope to rock with you. Guys, you have been such an amazing guest with us today. I hope today you have learned something. Not only you need to hear what Nate has to say, but I want to say one thing is, please put it into action and not start tomorrow, start something today. You have heard what Nate has shared with you. You have probably taken down some notes. Remember, knowing and not doing is as good as not knowing. All right. So it doesn't make any difference if you know everything that Nate has to say. But if you are not doing it, nothing is going to change. Remember, we are not an entertainment movie today. All right. Although, yeah, somebody in US is trying to pitch me to be a Hollywood star. I don't want to mention further about this, but stay tuned. Gary Gan coming on the big screen soon. Anyway, once again, thank you so much. Charger, are you able to unmute everybody or let them so that we can all say a big thank you to Nate for such an amazing, inspiring, and motivating session today.
Of course. Thank you so much, Gary and Nate. I want to represent all the people from Facebook. We have 30 over people from Facebook. We have 50 over people from Zoom.
Yes.
And I want to represent a big thank you. Of course, later I will unmute you guys. But before that, I want to share some links with you guys. If you want to follow Gary, you can look at these links. We're having the KPT Leadership Seminar upcoming in October, and we will have the Passive Income Bootcamp in the November. So remember to get yourself the Passive Income Bootcamp, all right? Now it's 39 USD, all right? So the promotion is going to end of September. So remember to get the early price as possible. You don't want to miss it, all right? I want to unmute you guys to say a big thank you to Nate and Gary for today's sharing. All right. I saw a lot of questions out there. I take noted, and I hope we have more sessions in the future. Yeah. Thank you so much. Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nate.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Are you unmuting them already, guys?
Awesome. Thank you, Nate.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Nate.
Aman, Okun, terima kasih. Thank you. Arigato. Xin chào.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. See you all in the next session.
See you,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye-bye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.